Welcome, everyone, to the MDM Show. I am your co-host, Donna Whittington, and of course, Peter Schenk, the producer and host of the show. Tonight, we have a wonderful guest with us tonight. Tonight, we have Regina Murphy. And Regina is going to chat with us all about sound and sound therapy. And she's also going to talk about us using sound therapy with water, our very favorite, right? Our favorite subject. So I hope you guys have your water ready to go. As always, you should know by now, you should always have some water with us. So get your water, and let me turn it over to Peter. We've got some wonderful things to share. And of course, we want to get to talking to Regina Murphy. Peter, how are you?
Doing good, Donna. Thank you. We got some really cool things going on tonight. We're going to get to Regina in a minute. We're taking a big change in how we do things on the MDM show. So starting next week, the show is only going to be available for 48 hours after the live broadcast on YouTube streaming, and then we're going to move it over to podcasting, so it'll be audio only. So again, starting next week, it's strictly 48 hours, and that's it. Tonight we got some amazing deals going on again on the 12th Project 4.0, and I'll have Donna go over those in a little bit with you. Tonight we're going to debut Navitas 4.0, which is a free product. It's all about high energy. So in a little while we're going to be doing a live activation on my computer. I'll be showing you all about that. So Regina, over to you. How are you?
I'm wonderful, Peter. Thank you for having me.
So we're excited. Please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, most people that are in the sound therapy or music therapy business have a background in music, and my background is quite different. It started with massage therapy and Reiki 20 years ago, and progressed into something called energy psychology, which is basically tapping on meridian points and thinking about a problem, and then into sound. And so I have no musical ability, no background in sound, but I became obsessed with it, and it became everything about my life. It started with an aura camera, so I was able to see what was happening when I wrote the word love on a bottle of water and took an aura picture before they held that, after they held it, and after they drank it, and seeing the complete change in an aura just from using the water. And it escalated from there into tuning forks and sound beds and silent frequencies and vibroacoustic speakers on the body, and opening my own recording studio, ultimately buying a sound generator and putting frequencies infused into vibroacoustic audio and video. So that's the story of the beginning, being a massage therapist, and all the way into making these products that I ultimately don't make. I've made the content for them, and then I teach people how to get them into the body. So basically I make everything free, and I teach people how to use sound therapy very inexpensively on their bodies, why it's more important to get it into the body with metal, and or just through the air is fine, but most importantly through water. This is the connection that we have, is water.
So how did you get interested in sound as a healing tool?
Well, I was teaching a class in 2004 on energy psychology, and I hurt my back. So energy psychology has a lot of websites, and I knew there was one that had a tapping sequence for every ailment. So I located it, and the tapping sequence took over 35 minutes. And that takes a lot of dedication. And I noticed on the website that he sold CDs with frequencies that tapped for you. being very lazy, I immediately ordered the CD with frequencies in it, and it overnight I was, completely cured. Not only that, everyone in my house was in a really great mood. So I was stunned at what sound could do. I absolutely this is 2004, Dr. Kurt Ebert. So I was stunned that sounds could actually affect meridian points and heal something where I couldn't even lift a glass of water to the next morning I could, lift cases of water for a seminar that I was teaching. And this Dr. Ebert called me to see how I was doing, and I was like, I can't believe this is wonderful. And he came and flew in, taught my class, and I bought every product that he had. And I have been obsessed with sound ever since, producing my own, collaborating with many sound healers worldwide, and trying to make it as free and easy as possible for most people.
So tonight we're going to be doing a demonstration in a little while of a new piece of technology called Navitus 4, and it's a free software program I give away. And the principles that govern it are where you put your attention, the intention will go. And the whole intention around Navitus is about high energy into water, drinking that, bringing about the changes in the body. So some people describe it as Red Bull squared. Sometimes it's very subtle, but builds over time. So if you're sleepy, at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, you're not sleepy anymore, but you don't notice that for 3 or 4 days. And I do that based on frequencies that I see, and in a combination of the Navitus engine or any of the product line, allow you to consciously direct that frequency or that level of vibration into anything that has water, predominantly, a glass of water next to the computer, a case of water downstairs, a body of water on the other side of the planet, or a cup of coffee on Mars. So you use sound, right? How does that differ from what I've developed and how I utilize it?
Well, oddly enough, I would think that if people were doing Reiki, let's say remote Reiki, as I've even heard this from many of the Reiki practitioners, that they would put the sound frequency program on that the person they were working on might need. Let's say it would be Parkinson's, okay? And if they played the Parkinson's program while they were working on the person with Parkinson's, it actually affected the person more dramatically with that program on than if they were just doing a Reiki. So in a sense, we're using technology quite differently, but the principle of it being able to be directed to a cup of coffee on Mars is very, very similar. But more so, it is my belief that if you could put sound on the physical body, either with speakers in the water or metal on the body, it is much more effective. Some say 18 times more effective. Some say 4 times more in water. But that all depends on the frequency of the person that's receiving it. So a brand new baby, when they study this in hospitals, they have 100% effectiveness because the baby is very open and they're vibrating at a high rate. So you have someone who's filled with rage, road rage, very angry, depressed. It might take longer for those frequencies to have an effect.
What is frequency?
When you let's say you have a tuning fork, and the tuning fork is ohm, which would be 136.10 hertz. That means that tuning fork, when activated, is vibrating 136.10 hertz per second. So if you're talking 38,000 hertz, which we can't hear, that's ultrasound, that would affect, let's say, people with Parkinson's, we can't hear that at all. but it's still effective if we're putting it on the body. So it's 1 hertz is 1 cycle per second. 38,000 hertz is 38,000 cycles per second. So we can hear, let's say, from 200 hertz to 20,000 hertz. So it's below and above that. The human cannot hear, but animals can hear above and below. Some.
And how do you get the tones or the frequency in the music?
There are sound generators available for free on the internet. The one that I use is called BZtronics, and what you do is you decide what program you want to make. So let's say we're making one for chemtrail detox, and it might tell you that it has 15 frequencies. So you make each frequency a certain amount of time, whether you want to make it for 1 minute or 3 minutes. You need, of course, a recording program. So then you make your whole program and you make a track for your, so you'd get all the frequencies in a row, or you can overlap them. We use them in a row because they're easier to embed in music when you're only embedding 1 frequency at a time. If you're embedding, let's say, 30 frequencies, it's going to sound absolutely awful and really have a detrimental effect on the music.
And what's an example of what you can do with a certain frequency embedded in music, for example?
Okay, for example, let's just take this one particular frequency is called 727. Dr. Royal Rife, I don't know if you know who Rife is, Royal Rife?
No.
Okay, well, Royal Rife had a microscope back, maybe 50 years ago, maybe a little bit more than that, much more powerful, like 20,000 times more powerful than our current powerful microscopes. And he would be able to direct a frequency at a specific bacteria or virus, and he would be able to watch that bacteria or virus disintegrate. So, for instance, there's a frequency number 208, that's 208 cycles per second, and what it does is it kills fungal infection, specifically in the lungs, but it will also kill any fungal infection in the body. And within minutes, you can take someone who's in respiratory arrest and from a fungal infection, okay, I have to be specific about that, and within 5 minutes they could come out of it, and their breathing could be absolutely astounding.
So can we do a demonstration? Can you offer a demonstration, putting something into water so all the listeners can do this live with us?
Well, I could. The only way that I could tell you that from here, where you can't see me, I would have been able to put a speaker into a crystal bowl.
We see your pretty picture.
Oh, okay. Well, what I would do, okay, if I didn't have anything else, I would go to a YouTube with a frequency in it. Let's say the sound of the sun. You could just put that in, or go to my YouTube Regina Murphy channel, where I probably have maybe 50 different programs up there. And again, you would just put the glass of water near the speaker, and of course intend that the water be infused with that. But there are speakers that go in water. Some of them are the size of maybe 2 inches in round, and others are huge. The government uses them in all our ports to protect our ports from terrorists. And what they do is they put the frequency of 19 hertz into the speaker, and it shuts the lungs down of someone who might be putting a bomb on our ship, one of the ships in our ports. So 19 hertz would shut your lungs down, but 20 hertz would have tremendous beneficial effects. Are you following me?
Yep.
So the only way that I would know that our from here at this moment in time as if they went to a YouTube and went to the sound of the sun, which has amazing benefits in water, and then drank the water, and they would feel that energy difference like you're talking about with your technology, where there are hospitals that are healing people simply with the sound of the sun.
Really? That's pretty interesting. It's
Yeah.
amazing what you can do when you apply your mind to it. I'd like to do a Navitas 4.0 activation for all of the listeners tonight. Navitas is a program that I developed several years ago based on whatever the Aquaware engine was at the time. And it's a free program that'll be live on the MDM website within 2 days. And I know I keep promising that and have been promising that for a long time, but folks, I honestly, it's almost done. You'll see it here in a second. I need everyone to go ahead and get a glass of water, please. I'm going to switch over and share my screen. Can you see the program okay, Donna?
I can.
Okay, good. So folks, this is the last beta version of Navitas 4. It's almost ready to go. I'll be having the videos done in a couple days, and when the software is finally released, you'll be able to watch that. So just a brief overview. This program is very simplistic. It's just built for high energy. That's all it does. There's a lot of feedback on the website about it. This has always been exciting. Navitas 4 is actually sporting the latest version of the Aquaware 4 engine, and this will probably be the last piece of software that I release utilizing the Aquaware 4 engine. Next year, of course, Aquaware 5 will come out first. There's going to be some amazing new features on it, and then we will go ahead and drift into the whole product line by upgrading it. So just in brief, there's a license agreement, access to the forum, the usage instructions, the video tutorials, which will be ready, and of course all of the social media contact information. And then the action panel actually has the utilization. So in different programs, I normally would combine water prep, user preparation, and nucleating the water in one. I decided again in this particular version of Navitas 4 to leave that out and keep them separated. So you know, all this technology is based on where you put your attention, the intention will go. And, you know, people just love to overcomplicate everything. And this is really the technology in its simplest form, okay? All you need is a glass of water next to the computer. You can have a case of water downstairs. You can have a body of water anywhere on the planet. Where you put your attention, the intention is going to go. So water preparation is the first one we're going to run. It runs for 8.1 seconds, and we're going to remove the memories, the structure, and the programming from the target water. So I'll count backwards, 3, 2, 1. I'll click on water preparation, and all that is required of you is just put your attention on the water. And watch it too, because a lot of cool things happen during water preparation, and especially user preparation. The water has a tendency to bubble. It has a tendency to start vibrating and physically shaking. Sometimes it will crawl out of the glass. Sometimes it soaks through the glass. Sometimes it crawls across the table. I mean, it does some really wild stuff. Okay, so without further ado, I will count backwards, 3, 2, 1. When I get to 1, just where your attention, the intention goes. Here we go, 3, 2, 1. We are running water preparation. We are removing the programming and the structure and the memories from the water. Okay. Next step, user preparation. User preparation came in a later version of Aquaware, version 1.2, I believe, and this creates a thin veil in the water. And what we found was that the subconscious mind plays a large part in the percentage of people actually getting the full-on effect of the water. So when user preparation runs, it creates a thin veil in the water, and when you drink the water, that energy is the first one. It goes right to the subconscious mind and opens it up for acceptance. So here we go. I'll count backwards. 3, 2, 1. Same target water. Just put your attention on it. 3, 2, 1. Okay, and of course, we're going to nucleate the water now. Nucleating Navitas 4 takes 18.1 seconds. Again, where you put your attention, the intention will go. 3, 2, 1. We're now nucleating your water with high energy. Runs for 18.1 seconds. Okay, I'd like everyone to go ahead and drink as much of that water as you want. Probably not the smartest ideas, especially it's nighttime, but that's the only time we can debut. What do you think, Donna? What's that? You're on mute, kid.
I know, I'm always on mute when you ask me a question. I'm like, can I get there? Water's yummy.
Good. Folks, please write in. We're going to open up the lines in a little while and take some phone calls, and you know, do some work with you, my style, and of course Regina. So Regina, where is this? What kind of results have you had from what you're doing?
Well, let's see. There's been one study in a hospital on our respiratory relief program that basically showed across the board incredible increase in oxygen levels in maybe 60 or 70 different areas. Those are really amazing results. My husband, who has serious lung issues, has gone from 38% lung function up to 56. Luckily, he's always the person who can prove it because we have tests on this. So to go from 38 to 56 is impossible. So the doctors basically just don't get that. Prostate so large, he had to live on a catheter that got infected, and then he was dying from the infection. I then produced infection frequencies and prostate frequencies, pain frequencies. He had a mass on the pancreas, a mass on the adrenals, and a mass on the kidneys. And unable to write or walk unassisted, and within an excruciating pain from the infection. Urologist said, I'm not treating him, he'll be dead in less than a month. Please don't come back. And within 2 days, I brought him back because I told him take out the catheter. He could urinate on his own. After they did he was completely out of pain, able to cook breakfast for me just fine. And after they did the follow-up CAT scan, the mass on the pancreas was gone. His prostate was perfectly normal. All of the other masses were gone. So that's just one example. We have hundreds like that. Healing, regeneration, and wound care. I had a lady who downloaded the program on her laptop, went to sleep. The nurse came to check her wound the next morning that she had been checking on for 11 years and changing the dressing. When she took the dressing off, the wound was gone. That is not your typical reaction. This woman was obviously in a very coherent state. Coherent meaning when the heart and the brain are operating together, we literally vibrate with a certain frequency inside of us, 0.01 hertz. So we become the tuning fork, we become the generator of this sound frequency when we're in coherence. Most of us either can't stay in coherence for very long or are never in coherence. So basically we're creating frequencies inside of us that are very incoherent, and we're then receiving everybody else's stuff, their anger or their sadness or whatever's floating around frequency-wise that we cannot see. But when we are incoherent, we're the generator of our own frequency. And then when we're given frequencies that heal, they work so much better. This is why the brand new baby study, 100% of the babies got better. And you know, it was 3 years. We had baby A, baby B, and every baby slept better, was released from the hospital earlier, calmer, oxygen levels were higher, because they were not in resistance to anything at all.
What forms can frequency come in?
Light, obviously sound, things that we can't see or hear, radio waves, ultra waves, ultrasound, color. Every color is a frequency. Everything has a frequency, like essential oils. For instance, clove probably has the highest frequency numerologically, okay, and it'll kill bacteria in your mouth. So everything has a frequency, basically.
So what in your line of work, what's a healing frequency that is predominant, that's very common?
Well, a lot of people like the 528 hertz frequency. It's one of the solfeggio frequencies. It's said to alter the DNA. But my main frequency in most of my programs is the 727 hertz, which was also considered the cure-all by Royal Rife. It took me years and years of researching to find that frequency and to be able to reproduce it.
And I'm sorry, what does the 727 do?
Well, it's considered a cure-all frequency because it affects over 250 bodily functions. So Royal Rife, the man I told you about with the microscope, he called it the cure-all.
So kind of like one size fits all, right?
Yes, exactly. The 727 is an absolute amazing frequency. And if you're going to play something in your house all day long, that would be a great one to play. The ohm frequency, the earth frequencies also are very, very healing to play continually in your home.
Now, the 727 frequency you're talking about is an audible tone, correct?
Absolutely. It's very similar to a woman's voice.
So you put that into music, right? And then, now, music, whatever frequency it's at, is what you're going to hear visibly, but you might not hear the 727. Does the music distract away from the 727 frequency when you're listening to it, or how does that work?
Not according to my results. Okay, I was probably the first one that I know of that embedded them into music, and our results have been so fantastic that I don't know for sure if the pure frequency is going to work better than with the music. I would think it probably would work better, but most people don't want to just sit there and listen to frequency. And the reason that I started with music and opened my own recording studio was because I experienced something called a sound bed. So a transducer will carry frequencies much lower than what we normally record music. And when you put these transducers into furniture or into foam and you lay on it and you put that transducer maybe on metal or wood, it vibrates your whole body. So imagine laying on a cloud of foam, but the sound being recorded at a much lower octave, vibrating your entire body. This is called vibroacoustic therapy. It has been studied for over 30 years at the National Institute of Health, and just those low tones alone, vibrating the body as it touches the skin, reduces pain and anxiety by 70%.
Wow.
Just that. So we're only talking the low tones that you're sitting on your recliner and your recliner is vibrating from sound, or on a sound bed, or just putting a transducer on your body. Okay, so just that alone can reduce pain and anxiety by 70%. Now, if you add beautiful music to that, and if you add, let's say, the 727 hertz, or a program for pesticide detox, all of these things add to it. Then you add dolphin and whale footage, or you add some of the most healing photographs in the world, let's say by William Carr, and you make a slideshow with some special effects. You have the sound and you have the light. You're putting a DVD in your television, you're blocking anything coming in from there, and you have these sound frequencies that are generating in your home. It's like a whole house tranquilizer, and the combination is absolutely magical. And in the autism program, it is absolutely stunning what it's doing for the kids in basic high school here in Las Vegas.
So the getting back to the 727 frequency, you work with an audible tone. In my world, frequency comes in many different forms. And what I'm asking you is it possible to take the 727 frequency and change its properties so maybe you can print it on a piece of paper or create some type of sacred geometry with it? Have you ever thought in terms of
yes. The only terms that I have thought of is actually writing down a program for, let's say, migraine. You take the numbers instead of creating the sound, you write them on a piece of paper, and then you put it so that it's facing the water and tape it to the glass of water. And I believe you'll have the same effect by drinking the water by just putting the numbers of the program on the water. So if I wrote 727 on my glass of water, I believe that's going to have the same, possibly the same effect. I don't have the technology I used to have, like an Aura camera, or even my regular cameras that used to be able to photograph the energy field. But I believe that there's a tremendous impact on water just by writing the numbers, either the series of numbers or a number.
Yeah, I agree with that. I just think plain numbers on a piece of paper aren't going to have the same effect on water that playing an audible tone to it would. But I think if you were to look at that 727 frequency and be able to change it into geometry, perhaps. And it's really interesting you're saying this, because I didn't know 727 was the healing frequency, but the dynamics within Navitas, meaning I use God numbers for proportions on imagery, and 727 actually is the width of the imagery by 281. So I thought that was...
Would you like to know how I got that frequency?
I just kind of came to me.
No, it didn't just come to me. Let me tell you how I got 727. Are you ready for this? My son passed away at 19, and he was a musician. And he was in an incubator when he was born for 19 days, blindfolded, and he was under a sun lamp and tied down. And, of course, I hate to admit it, but my son talks to me, and he said to me, "Mom..."
Why would you be hesitant to admit that?
Well,
I talked to Donna. I mean,
I'm very much alive, but yes, he does talk to me.
Well, I still argue with him. He's Italian, and he said to me, "Mom, when I was in the incubator, if I would have heard your voice, I would have been okay." And then he flashes and I don't see things, I'm not clairvoyant, flashes this giant 727, like I'm sitting in a movie theater and that's all I see is a giant red 727, and then goes away and doesn't talk to me then for a year and a half while I was on a search for what 727 was. And this was maybe 6 years ago, maybe 7. And I bought textbooks for $200, was reading everything I could on frequencies and hertz, and then when I finally found the 727 and it said Rife Cure-All 727, that's when, you know, everything broke open for me and I realized, oh my God, that's what he was talking about, the 727, and that's what we put in the baby programs and in many of our programs. So in the sound generator that I buy, in almost every other program, there is the 727 hertz as well. So in other words, it's included in so many of the different programs. It's probably 2,000 programs that come with the BZtronics Rife sound generator. So that's how we were able to make the programs. It would say, you know, abdominal pain, or mold, or cancer, or uterine cancer, or prostate, enlarged prostate, or prostate cancer. So whatever program we were making, almost every other program has the 727 in it.
that's pretty amazing. I want to go back to the comment you made about being embarrassed that you talked to your son. I talk to dead people all the time. I talk to energy. I interact with it nonstop. And what I've learned over time is it will leave me alone until I put my attention on it. And once I do, that's when the games start, you know, in whatever capacity or whatever information exchanges. I just thought, I don't know, that comment just kind of hit me because, you know, I have 1 foot in this world and 3 feet in the next world all the time, and you know, you kind of lose yourself in all of it, and you just think, you know, talking to someone that's passed on, or you know, just communicating in that world becomes the norm. And when you said that, it just it kind of hit me a little bit. Regina, can we do a live activation with 727?
Well, what do you mean by live activation? You're going to play that frequency or what?
I'm asking you to play that frequency.
Sure, absolutely.
Okay, so
Wait a minute.
Okay.
Sorry, I just to couple things. Just a program note. I do apologize, guys. So people are trying to like ask questions. So for those of you that are watching, our comments are disabled in YouTube. So Peter, of course, is going to take some live calls, but you can also chat with us on the MDM, the Modern Day Mystic Facebook page, or if you're connected to Peter on his personal page, you can message us there too. So
I just want to comment on this. And I know a lot of people are frustrated and they want to interact with myself and guests that we have on the show. And we're completely upping the game. The dynamics of what we are doing are moving away from Google Hangouts in a very short amount of time. We're going to be moving to a Citrus-based platform, which is ultimately more professional and allows myself and a guest to interact with the users on a much more intimate level than sending an email, calling, putting it here, putting it there, because believe me, I get frustrated too. And I want to reach out and answer everyone's questions that I can, but sometimes that's not possible. So in brief, that's probably going to happen in the next 2 weeks. We're going to be taking a 3-week break from the show in December, and we'll be back sometime around January 3rd with a whole new lineup for the third season. But again, I apologize for these comments. And the fastest way to get them to us is, again, like Donna said, post on my Facebook page. Just text me on the Facebook page. We're going to open up the line here in a few minutes. But before we roll on to a live activation with Regina, we are extending the 12th Project 4.0 discount. It's 33% off the 12th Project software and the bundle. And again, Donna was nice enough to send out an email during the show with all of that. The coupon code is 33OFF-SHOW, 33OFF-SHOW, and that is only running for 48 hours. And as part of what we're changing on the MDM show, the live shows will only be available for 48 hours after they are recorded live, folks. And then they will be moved to an audio stream podcasting on the Apple Store, the App Store. Sorry, Donna, continue. I just got off on a tangent. I hate when that happens.
Not a problem, not a problem. So yes, I was just going to say that, of course, get your questions there, and then Peter will open up the line. But I had a question that I'm pressed to ask you, Regina, before you play your sound therapy. Does it matter what music you are playing your sound therapy with? Is classical? Is it more conducive? Is it jazz? Is rock? What are your thoughts on that?
Well, of course, we recorded everything for a vibroacoustic setting, which would be a relaxing type music that's going to vibrate a transducer. However, if you were to put, let's say, the diabetes program into Cretin's Clearwater Revival, and you love that, and you're driving in your car, you're still going to get the effects of the embedded sounds, and you're going to be happy because that's the songs you're listening to, what makes you happy. So it really doesn't matter as long as you're not having sounds that are canceling each other out, which can happen. That's why the musicians that are doing this, are going to make sure that certain frequencies sound better in this particular composition rather than that particular composition, and that nothing's canceling out. But that's usually not a big problem. So basically, anyone can buy that sound generator, pick their issue, put it in, if they have a recording program, and make a track for what they need and listen to the music they love. As a matter of fact, one of the people I work with is teaching this at the School of Rock very, very soon. So our young musicians will be learning how to add frequencies not only to their favorite audio, but one of the major studios is adding it to their children's movies. I'm not really allowed to say which one, but it will be coming out before Christmas so that children that have autism could watch a movie and those frequencies would be embedded in it, which is a huge gift as far as I'm concerned of awakening the world to the power of sound. So if I was to die tomorrow after 11 years of living for this stuff, I feel that one accomplishment, that it's going to be on movies from a major studio, and of course my goal is to get it onto PBS. So hopefully that the children will have the ADHD frequencies, cancer frequencies at the hospitals, whatever they need. So this is the beginning of, to me, the greatest gift that I know that, and I was extremely instrumental in having that occur.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. Thanks for sharing that.
Let's do a live activation, Regina.
Okay, now when you say that, you realize I wasn't prepared for that. I actually had a transducer with the MP3 player and an amp set up to play the music that had it in it, that has it in it. I can't just play the 727 tone.
However you want to do it, that's fine.
Okay, and it's because it and I don't have a splitter with a speaker, so it's going to sound a little muffled because it's coming through a transducer, not a speaker. and hopefully you can hear it. So I'll give it a shot.
Okay.
Okay.
Do people have to prepare anything before doing this?
No, basically just hearing it. As long as they can hear it, the music, they're receiving the frequency. Can you hear it?
I can.
Okay, so you're basically not able to tell that there's a frequency going in there. So you could go to Regina Murphy Healing Vibrations on YouTube, and this would come up with William Carr's photos. This would also come up with dolphin and whale videos. And they could just play it in the background and receive tremendous benefits. Or on their phone, of course. And I have many, many programs free on YouTube.
So for clarity, people listening to this particular piece of music has this 727 frequency built into it, but what is it doing for them?
Well, it's probably, to begin with, I know it works very, very predominantly on blood sugar. It's balancing the blood sugar. It works on the sinuses, and like I said, over 200 bodily functions. So there's a tremendous amount of what the body needs. It's receiving it instantaneously, because the cells respond, the receptors on the cells respond instantly when it hears 727 frequency. And even though our ears can't differentiate, the body can. And what I like the best as far as healing are bone conduction headphones. Do you know what bone conduction headphones are?
No idea.
Okay. Well, they were developed for runners and bikers, and they're tiny little transducers that go onto the cheekbone instead of in the ears, so that when they're running and biking, they can hear everything that's going on around them. But they can also hear the music, because you can hear from the cheekbone. This is how Beethoven composed the last several symphonies. He was completely deaf, but by putting his head on the piano, his cheek on the piano, he was able to compose some of his greatest symphonies. So when you put the bone conduction headphones on and play the particular programs, the brain changes so rapidly, because the bones become a soundboard that go right into the head, the bones of the skull, into the spinal fluid. And I have tested before and after with brain trauma, 5 minutes of the bone conduction, and there's been such an amazing difference in the brain that not only happened in 5 minutes, but held up 2 weeks later. Of course, these results are on my website. I've always tried to put as many medical and test results as I could over the past 5 years up.
So I'm just a bit confused. So right now you're doing a live demonstration. You're playing the embedded 727 frequency out for everybody, and just by listening to that music, it's bringing about 200 and X amount of changes, positive changes within the body, right? But the earlier part of the conversation revolved around programming water with the frequency. So what are we doing differently now than what we were originally talking about, and how do you put the first part of that into practical application?
Well, first of all, we are between 70 and 80% water.
Right.
Whether you're talking about water in a glass or water within your own body, we're still talking water, which carries frequencies very well. But I need you to ask that question just a little better for me to answer it.
Sure. So right now we're doing a live demonstration. You're playing music in the background that's carrying the 727 frequency, and that particular frequency affects 200 and something parts of the body, right? In a positive way. But we're listening to it. And what I'm asking is, in the first part of our discussion tonight, we were talking about programming water with frequency, right? Perhaps the 727, you were saying write it on a piece of paper or a piece of tape and put the glass of water on it. What's the difference in delivering it through music or putting it into water?
Okay, well, you're talking about putting the frequency alone into water through geometry.
No, I'm not. I'm specific to what we were doing earlier when you were explaining about using a tone generator and putting it into water, as opposed to. I'm just trying to understand the difference of what we're doing now in the live demonstration, as opposed to putting the 727 into a glass of water via any method.
I don't think there is any difference because we're still using intention.
Okay, so this is my kind of self-exploration about programming water directly in the body. Water in the body vibrates at different frequencies for optimal body, functionality. And in my experience, programming water directly in the body is inherently not good because it can cause massive detoxing to happen. So that's why in everything I've built, I've always used water as the catalyst to carry that particular frequency or vibrational level into the body, thereby bringing about changes in the body, or if you use it in the environment, or on the skin on the outside of the body.
Well, the only thing that I can grasp of this is that each cell has a different frequency that it needs, and the receptors on the cell that do not need the frequencies that are going into the body or the water normally are not going to accept it. But there are some that can be dangerous, such as the ones that drop blood sugar, such as the one that kills yeast. So I don't sell those because they're so powerful and they can cause harm. But most of them won't cause any harm, and the cells will not absorb them. The receptors won't open and receive them if they don't need it. So it's about what the body needs, as well as being safe and not putting something that's going to cause a major detox, like killing off a bunch of yeast cells going into the lymphatic system and making a already sick person sicker. So it's kind of just testing and knowing for sure what will work and what won't work.
I gotcha. Okay, Regina, are you open to taking live callers asking questions?
Sure.
Okay, so anyone that wants to call in with a live question, that number is 203-456-8155. Again, it's 203-456-8155. Donna, do we have any questions popping up in any of the social media sites? The ones that are working anyway.
I know Tony Miravino. Hey, Dr. Tony. Wants to ask a question. I don't see his question, but I know he's asking me, can he ask questions? So put your questions in, Tony.
Hi, this is Peter. Who are we talking to?
Peter, Georgia.
Hey, Georgia. How are you?
Okay, how are you?
Doing good. Do you have a question for myself or Regina?
I do have a couple of questions. Is there a particular frequency for pain?
Oh, yeah. Because I don't have my list in front of me, and there are obviously hundreds of thousands of frequencies. There are several, and when they're used in combination or lined up 3 minutes at a time, they're extremely effective.
Okay.
Did that?
You guys still there?
Yeah, we're here.
Okay. And then Peter, I had a question for you because I have Aqua 4.0 and I have Source 4.
Okay.
Can I recode my DNA for wealth using Source 4?
You want to restructure your DNA for wealth using the Source 4?
Yeah.
Okay, well, your DNA has nothing to do with acquiring wealth. That's an energetic form, a stream that you need to tap into. So just kind of off topic in recap, when you want to manifest using the Source 4, you want to bring that manifestation into your mind, picture perfect, utilizing any of your human five senses that can apply to it, and the more real it is, and then just use the mechanics of the Source 4 to bring it into fruition. Does that kind of help you out?
Kind of. I've had it for, well, since you were on Darius.
Okay.
And I haven't even been able to create a blue button.
Well, you know, so sometimes you have to think outside the box a little bit. You know, those are just generalized examples of how I get people started on the technology. You know, shake it up a little bit. Ask for something large. You know? And
I have been, and I'm seeing some different things in my life. It's,
just also be open to the way that they're delivered as well, because they come in many forms. You know, ultimately, right. Source is, you know, wise beyond us, and you know the way it's delivered is always in its perfection. So if you're asking for wealth, just be be explicit in what you want, but also be open to, you know, how it's being delivered, because I can tell you right now, energetically, you're already in the stream.
Cool. I love doing that. I've been using Aquaware now for a while, because I started like at 20-some% and I'm up to 100%.
Back off a little bit on that. Back off a little bit on that. You know, really? Aquaware is not about pushing it to the highest percentile. It's about getting results. Back it off to like around 40.
No kidding.
No kidding. Right out of the creator's mouth.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. I love your product.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That was out of the horse's mouth, wasn't it?
I'm sorry.
Whatever.
I didn't mean to interrupt that question that Tony was throwing out there. And he's been texting me and pinging me all night, so we got to get that one answered.
Yeah. Let's do that. Can you see it? I didn't see Tony's question.
What was the question?
I'm asking Tony to post his question, like, because I don't see his question. I'm in Facebook, folks. Ask your questions or call. Okay,
let's do another call. 203-456-8155. Lines are open for myself or Regina. 30-second delay. Delay. Can you count backwards, Donna, from 30 to 1 and hope the phone rings? Can't you have your daughter call and make it sound like we're busy over here?
Could I talk to Peter, please?
Oh, we manifested a call.
Yay.
Hi, this is Peter. You're live. Hello.
Hi, Peter.
Hi.
From Perth, Australia. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Yeah, good, thank you.
Do you have a question for myself or Regina?
Yes, I do. Well, maybe for both of you, who knows. I have been on a journey of awakening for the last, well, since January. I have discovered scalar wave generators and good food versus the toxic things other people try to make us eat. I think that I am experiencing a very powerful detox. I have very bad mood swings and very emotional. And while I'm sure that my chakras are cleared and functioning properly, I seem to be unable to break out of this. And I was wondering if you guys had any advice on frequencies I could use to assist the healing process and the detoxifying well, I don't know whether I should aid the detoxifying process, perhaps slow it down, make it more amenable. It's really what I'm after.
So Regina, he is experiencing some severe detoxing from some different modalities that he's been using, and his question is, do you have a frequency for him that can kind of slow down the detoxing process that he's going through?
Yeah, detoxing is certainly a big issue when it comes to energy medicine. So I would again say the 727 one, which there are at least 3 of those on my YouTube, and it'll say, you know, Miracle Chord 727, or just the healing vibrations only has 727 in it. So it would be Regina Murphy. Just put in 727, and I feel that is, I'm sure it's the safest, because we're using it with preemies and newborns in the incubators. And I think that would probably be your best bet overall.
Did you hear that okay?
Yes, I got that. 727 all over.
Yep.
Thank you very much.
And just you know, your chakras do need a tune-up, just FYI.
There's also one on YouTube for the chakra, all chakras. There's possibly the root and crown where we pair them off, and the heart chakra. So if they need a tune-up, they're also listed in my program. So you could put Regina Murphy chakra program, and they'll start to come up.
Great. Thanks for calling.
Thanks, Peter.
Okay.
Cheers.
Cheers. Okay. Did Tony post his question yet? Tony, you know you're out there somewhere.
No, I'm like texting you on Skype, Tony, so just ask your question. Hey, while we're waiting for the next caller, Regina, could you give a shout out to where you want people to connect with you, please?
Sure. You could go to my website, the Sounds for Self-Treatment. I don't know if that's up there under my picture, soundsforselftreatment.com. And you could email me there any question that you might have about what programs we have that might benefit whatever issue you're having. And there's a lot of information on that website, Sounds for Self-Treatment. And I can direct you to the other sound healers also websites that you may want to look further into. And I've written several books that are free that I can either email you or guide you to, so that you can start working with tuning forks, build your own vibrosonic pillows, and go from there.
Awesome. What do you think, Don? You want to do another live caller?
Absolutely, always. They're lots of fun. Bring your questions, folks.
Well, we had a stable platform for them to bring their questions. Folks,
call.
203-456-8155. Lines are open. Bring it. Questions for Regina or myself? And again, we're running the show special on the 12th Project 4.0 again, and the 12th Project 4.0 bundle, 33% off, coupon code 33OFF-SHOW for tonight in the next 48 hours. So Regina, why don't you tell us where all of your work is going, where you see it going?
Well, of course, I'm hoping to get it into to the children's movies, not only through the one that is beginning it, but on PBS. I'd like to see our children starting on sound therapy. That's why the first programs we made were for preemies, babies with addiction, and newborns, and have, of course, been studied in hospitals, but releasing the studies and follow-up studies, you know, take a great deal of time. I would love to see every hospital have it piped into their emergency rooms, into their client rooms. not only creating a healing environment for the patient, but also for the staff, so that hospitals would run more efficiently, people would remain calm instead of listening to CNN while they're already sick and sitting and nervous and waiting for someone to come out of an emergency room, and basically get us to a place where we're calmer. I'd like to see it in schools, in every classroom. ADHD helps kids focus, it helps adults focus. Autism is just not only good for autism, it helps with Tourette syndrome, it helps with oppositional defiant disorder. And these are things that I don't really believe are disorders. I think the kids are coming in with a lot of this energy, and it really helps them do very, very well in school. And it's basically stunning what sound can do to change the environment of every home and office, school, hospital, work environment.
Wow, that's awesome. I do have a question for you, Regina.
Hang on 1 second. We got another live caller.
Okay.
Hi, this is Peter. You're live with myself and Regina. Who is this?
This is Douglas.
Hi, Douglas.
I just wanted, first of all, just wanted to say I really like your product, the Aquaware 4. I've been using it for the past month, and just having a lot of fun, and really cool technology.
Thank you.
My question was, to Regina, what would be a frequency to increase learning and speed up, just studying and things like that, to embed information into the brain?
Well, I would definitely go to the ADHD program. Mostly everybody benefits from that, even though it shouldn't be labeled ADHD. It should be, in my opinion, labeled focus and even memory. If you have a project you have to do and you play that in the background, it's just incredible how much smoother everything goes. The artist on that is Peter Sterling, so it's harp music. It's absolutely beautiful. And that's the one that I would definitely recommend for any type of brain enhancement, the ADHD program, which I play driving my granddaughter to school every day.
Excellent, excellent.
And it's on YouTube, so you can download it.
Okay. Thank you.
Great. Thanks, Douglas. Hi, this is Peter.
Peter.
Hi.
Wanted to say that I enjoy your show every week. I look forward to every Sunday and your guests.
Thank you. I'm sorry, your name is?
Michelle.
Hey, Michelle. Do you have a question for Regina or myself?
Yes, I do. I'd like to know if you have a frequency for eyesight, for healing eyesight.
727. And my
Oh,
glasses
no.
came off. Oh, God, I can see better. That's amazing.
It might affect eyesight, but there are specific frequencies for eyesight. And not only do I have a program for that, but honestly, it's not on the website. We have so many that haven't made it to the website. But I can tell you who does have very specific eyesight programs. And the website is, the name of the man is Dr. Kurt Ebert. And his website is thetreeoflife.com, except there's a dash between every word. So it's the-tree-of-life.com. And he has several specifics for eyesight. And his frequencies work quite different than the Rife frequencies. They work more on the level of consciousness, where the Rife frequencies are actually working with the physicality in the body. So you'd want to read both websites to see the difference. It's quite complicated, but for a specific eye issue, I would go to Dr. Kurt Ebert, thetreeoflife.com, and on my website, I have a 2.5-hour lecture of his that I recorded 11 years ago when he flew in for me. And it's absolutely stunning. Yeah, I could listen to it, 3 times a year and learn something new. So I would listen to his website. I would go to his listen to his YouTube, 2.5 hours. It's on my YouTube channel, Regina Murphy, Dr. Kurt Ebert, and then it's thetreeoflife.com with a space in between. You could email me if you lose it at soundsforselftreatment.com.
Oh, that's wonderful. Thank you. May I ask one other question?
Sure.
Do you have a frequency for pets, for healing pets?
He does. Dr. Ebert does. I actually did make one with a video on it with music for my own bulldog, and it works great. Dr. Ebert's are frequency only. There's no music, and you use a little emitter so you don't hear it, but the pets hear it, and they don't hear it, they feel it. So the emitter blocks the sound because the frequencies sound absolutely awful. And it goes 100 feet in every direction. And after you watch YouTube, you'll understand a whole lot more about it. But that pet frequency is really, really good.
Oh, that's great. I actually think that my cat reacted to the 17.
Yeah, I treat my dog with everything that I make. So, when he's got a fungal infection, I use fungal frequencies. When he's got pain, I use pain. And he reacts to that. So what the animals love the best is the PTSD. And you can go on to Regina Murphy, PTSD, and play that on the television for them, and they absolutely love it.
Oh, that's great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Donna, now that you have a question.
Yay! Okay, so the question comes from Becky. Becky is in Facebook, and Becky has a question for Regina. She says, hi, everyone. I have a question for Regina having to do with Reiki. If you are working on someone and are not targeting a specific issue, what frequency would you use?
Always I use the 727, but there's another program called Etheric Sweep, and this of course is an audio download. They aren't all on YouTube. Etheric Sweep is a set of frequencies that run through just about everything the body needs. Beautiful, it's embedded in one of the most beautiful compositions by David Gibson. And also I have written a book called Vibrosonics. So it combines Reiki with the transducer. So basically you can build this little setup. Lots of massage therapists have built them. And you're putting one hand using with the Reiki and the other one with the transducer that fits in your hand. And so most people really love that etheric sweep. It's the most popular on the sound beds and with the vibrosonic pillows. And Dr. Oz had this set up on his show. Dr. Mitchell Gaynor put the transducer with delta waves on his sternum, which basically acted as a soundboard, and hooked electrodes up to his brain, and they showed what was happening. So it has a tremendous effect throughout the whole body. But this particular one, Etheric Sweep, basically hits numerous things that the body would really react very well to, including pain, relaxation, and many other things.
Okay.
I have a question. Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead, but I do have one after that.
Oh, really? Go ahead.
Okay.
Before beauty.
Okay. So, Regina, my father's in ICU, and I'm wondering. I love these shows because my brains are always running while I'm doing the show. So for my father right now, who's in ICU with internal bleeding,
Mm-hmm.
So my sisters and my family, everyone's there but me. Could I have them go to YouTube, and
Yes.
what
Mm-hmm.
should they listen? What should we have him listening to?
Again, I would, because you don't know what's going on.
Well, it's internal bleeding.
Right, but you don't know the cause of the internal bleeding. So I would always then go to one of the programs that has the 727 in it, and then PTSD, because he's already so stressed that anything that will calm him down will assist the process of healing.
Okay.
So I would go to the 727 with the dolphins and the whales. The first one up there is Healing Vibrations. That has 727 in it. And then, of course, PTSD. That's going to help the whole family. And then I would be happy to email Staph infection as well to you, because unfortunately, when people are in the hospital, we know that things in the hospital can end up causing problems as well. And so basically you just play it on the phone and connect any speaker that may have a decent sound with a little metal in it and put it on the bed, and it'll vibrate. If you could even put it on his skin somewhere, like in his hand, it would get further into the body very, very quickly and be very beneficial. Don Campbell wrote the book Healing at the Speed of Sound, and he referenced many studies with vibroacoustics in hospitals.
Yeah. Thank you, thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I tried to make it free and accessible to anyone with a phone, and the reports that I get back just from a phone absolutely astound me.
So, Regina, we still have a little bit of time left. You open up to do maybe another live caller or two?
Sure.
Okay. So, folks, that number is 203-456-8155. 203-456-8155. I was playing around with audio tones prior to actually developing Aquaware back in late 2004, 2005, and I personally had some amazing effects on it. There were some tone generators that were pretty crude back in the day that you could download, 11 years ago, and I just used to listen to them, and there was one frequency. Hi, this is Peter. You're live with myself and
Hi,
Regina.
Peter. I'm watching you right now. I better turn this down so it doesn't confuse.
Actually,
Sherry.
walk out of the room, please. Walk out of the room.
Hi, Regina. I have never heard of you, but I am so thrilled I'm on here tonight that you're there. Question, unless my cat decides to come around the energy. When someone has traumas from, has been with them for 10 years from a major car accident, or is even extremely empathic like I am, are there frequencies that can help with that in relationship to calm and have it not as intense sometimes?
The program that I love the best is the PTSD program, and it works in so many different instances, and it is on the dolphin and whale video, which I love, and I would think that that would be the best for the trauma. Okay, as far as the being an empath, I have to say, because I am an empath and I've worked as in the healing arts for 20 years. Prior to that, a flooring contractor. I have to take a bath in baking soda and sea salt every single night, and that keeps the aura cleansed and protected from the energy you're absorbing all day long as an empath. So I would try that. And with the water, this morning I used my rose quartz bowl to put my frequencies in, then the aqua software in the rose quartz bowl after I activated it, put it in the bath, baking soda, sea salt. So I use water all the time. I use water with frequencies continually. And you could just put your speaker up against your bathtub, and those frequencies, especially if you have a metal bathtub, that's going to go into the water, as well as if you're just listening to it while you're taking a bath. So that would be PTSD on the YouTube, Regina Murphy, PTSD.
Thank you. I have one other question. It keeps going in and out of my head, and it's frustrating because I can't seem to lock onto it. Oh, gosh.
Your ears are smoking, kid.
Yeah, I know. It's like, man, it's like, why is it evading me? Because I've been having a lot of psychic attacks and the whole gamut, and but I think that has calmed down because I've been doing this specific prayer. For brain injuries, is the 727 and PST the best for that too?
Well, there is a specific one on YouTube for brain injury, but I can also tell you the #1 YouTube that I have is called Entity Removal, and I think I get 20,000 minutes a month on that. It is the #1 consistently for 5 years, the #1 of all my YouTubes. And
I didn't catch it. You have to repeat that.
it's called Entity Removal, a YouTube called Entity Removal.
There's a YouTube video called Entity Removal.
Okay, thank you, because you're clearer than she is over the phone.
Yep.
It's the most popular. Believe it or not, the second most popular is the Rosary, oddly enough. The third one is PTSD. The Entity Removal has all the solfeggio frequencies in it. It has a gong playing most of the time. It has great imagery. And then there's a subliminal or non-audible track that I personally made. And the entire program was instructed from my son on the other side of the veil, because
I love it. Thank you.
even though I didn't want to grow up to be an exorcist, it became part of my work, and it was taking a toll on my heart. And my son said, "That's it, Mom. Here's how you're going to do this." And he had me make this entity removal program. And only once since that did he actually have me do a physical exorcism. And again, when I said, "No, I'm not doing it," he said, "Yes, you are, Mom." It was on a little girl, and I had to use water with my crystal bowl. I had to put intention in it. And he actually had me do it on my boat, because water is such a powerful medium for the other side. And the first time he appeared in one of my photographs was out on the boat. And he would come into my pictures, and then my camera would capture the other side of the veil. So you could go to my other website and see all my photographs where my cameras would actually open to the other side of the veil. But entity removal is the one that you want, for sure.
All right. I remembered what it is. What do you feel that binaural beats are good or not? I can't stand them when I hear them, but other people are really pushing them on the internet. Binaural beats?
The neuro beats?
Binaural beats, yes.
Yep.
Well, we don't use them normally. Sometimes we create them on purpose to create another frequency to make it audible. So I don't know, do I need to explain what binaural beats are?
No.
Okay. All right. So do I like them? I think they are effective, but again, we make them inaudible so that you're not bothered by it. And I recommend...
When I hear them, I literally I want to take a baseball bat to somebody, okay?
Then you know that they're not right for you. I tell everybody, be your own doctor, your own tolerance level for sound.
God bless you. I feel like I want to connect with you, and I want this in with the children. I want these in nursing homes. I want these in senior living. It's like unbelievable. Thank you.
Thank you. And by all means, please reconnect on the website.
So we have some questions popping up here and there in our defunct social media. There's a question from Barbara, and this is to you, Regina. She says, is there a frequency for newborns that are not sick, but a frequency to play in the nursery?
Yeah, it's the 727. I have it on my website. It says newborn, not on my website. I mean on my website for sure, for sale. But you could also go to YouTube, and it'll say newborn. We have it in Chinese. We also have a beautiful welcome message in it, and we have it in Chinese, Spanish, German, and English. So just go to Regina Murphy YouTube and then put in newborn, and that contains the 727.
Okay, great. We have another call coming in here in about 10 seconds from Emily. She posted a fairly long question, but I just asked her to call in so we can you can answer it for her instead of having me read a page and a half. Not that I'm lazy or anything, but so Emily, you can call in on that 203-456-8155. Maybe not.
Well, you remember, we've got the delay.
So much for the delay. Hey, Emily, you're live with Regina and Peter.
Hi, this is Emily. How are you this evening?
I'm a psychic or what? Huh? That's amazing. I'm doing good.
Doing well?
I'm doing great. What can we do for you?
My question is, I received an injury from a patient. I was a CNA for about 11 years of my life. Once I received the injury, it was equivalent to being like a snap punch in my chin. And the diagnosis was not until 8 months later that I had a cervical, my brain just like totally, I'm sorry, forgive me. C5, 6, and 7 herniation with impingement on left and right, plus I have an army neck or a military neck is how they describe it, where it's just straight up and down. The curvature has left my neck, and there's impingement and nerve damage and all. Anyway, so the doctor, the last MRI I received in 2013 of October, the statement was that they can do nothing for me and I need to get surgery. So I had never been introduced to the holistic field. I was not aware of it. I've been a CNA and worked in medical for, again, almost 11 years. So for the past about probably a year and a half, almost 2 years, I have saw all different types of alternatives. And so I know that emotional is connected. I know that there is past life, also stuff that I've actually meditated and seen for myself. And I just, with the frequency that you're speaking of, that I'm hearing that you have spoken about, is there a frequency that is opposed to maybe dealing with the trauma, because there is trauma, is there maybe a frequency that I would have to look at more maybe based on emotional?
Well,
would you have something specific for that injury, or?
Well, here's what I would suggest. If you go to the Regina Murphy YouTube and type in Energy Psychology Guided Session, I would use that Energy Psychology Guided Session.
Guided sessions.
Okay.
It's 23 minutes. I would do that. Then I would go to either the Heart Chakra program or PTSD and get a speaker that will nicely fit under your neck. Like, they look like soda cans or that kind of thing. You see them at Best Buy. And just let that program play and feel that vibration under your neck. And I think you'll find a tremendous amount of relief. But I always like to couple the energy psychology with anything to do with trauma, I personally believe that all physical pain has to do with an emotional issue or something we're resisting. So if you couple the energy psychology program with something basic like 727 or heart chakra, which is the earth frequency, by the way, same frequency, and then just put the speaker in your hand or under your neck or really right behind your neck and kind of lean on it, I think you'll find amazing, amazing results.
Okay. Well, I appreciate your time, and thank you very much for taking my phone call this evening.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right, thank you very much.
I kind of feel compelled to do an aquaware for activation, and I really don't know why. Maybe it has to do with the frequencies, but I'm going to share the screen out, and I'd like everyone to get a glass of water, please. All right. So again, Aquaware 4.0 has been on the market for almost a year, and this is the 800-pound gorilla in the room. There's over 700 pre-canned intents built in across 12 different categories: bathing and showering, human potential, conditions, physical and mental performance, which we're going to do. And then, of course, there's the advanced feature tab that has a lot of amazing stuff on there that actually allows you to write your own intent, save it, and then bring it back. And, of course, Brilliant Minds, one of my favorite. Aquaware 5 will sport north of 180 Brilliant Minds. Actually, you know what? Let's just do a Brilliant Mind intent. I've already set the software up for standard mode, which will run water prep, user prep, and then we're going to do Nikola Tesla tonight. This is one of my absolute favorites. David Shear did a lot of testing with this early on, and it was pretty amazing. And of course, we have Mary Magdalene in there, which is another favorite of mine. So tonight we're going to do Nikola Tesla, and if you don't own the software, this is a real treat for you. Go ahead and get a glass of water. The only thing that's required of the user is where you put your attention, the intention will run. So again, Nikola Tesla. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. We are now water prepping the target water. And of course, the times that it takes to water prep with this version of Aquaware, because it is a little bit older than the other software that's been released, utilizing the same engine but just tweaked. I generally don't go back and recalibrate it just because I'm putting all that effort into Aquaware 5, which will be available at some point next year. So we are now running user preparation, and again we're going to nucleate the water with the consciousness of Nikola Tesla. So everything he was in life, we will bring the best attributes into a glass of water right now. Nucleating the water takes, I believe, about 42 seconds. And again, folks, Navitus 4 will be available within 2 days on the website. It's a free download. You just have to register for it. And you can download it and freely distribute it anywhere you want on as many computers as you want. Okay, that's it, folks. Go ahead and drink your water. Again, Nikola Tesla water. Okay, Donna, do we got any more questions from anybody?
Never got the question from Tony, so I guess he didn't want to ask it, unless you saw it and I didn't. But I don't see any more questions.
Okay, we're about at the end of my attention span right now.
Oh, yes.
So just to recap on a lot of stuff, folks, starting next week, the replays of the MDM show are only available for 48 hours on YouTube, at which point they're going to go over to audio only via podcast. You'll be able to get them on the Apple Store or the MDM radio station. Tonight we're running the 12th Project 4.0 special, 33% off the bundle and the core software. 3/3 off show is that coupon. Donna, what else we got going on?
Well, guess what? We've got a really cool show next week with Ed Edwards, and then the following week with Barbara Oren. So we've got two powerful shows left in November. So you want to stay tuned for that, of course, every Sunday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And I really think we need to do a couple more shout-outs for Regina's websites. And Regina, what is the name of your YouTube channel?
Regina Murphy.
Perfect.
Is the name of my YouTube channel. And there's probably 180 or more videos on there. So pretty much everything, you know, is covered on that you might need. The only one that I think I should put up there, if I could figure it out, would be pain, because most people do have pain. But the low tones help the pain anyway. So just listen to them, download them, put them on your body. I prefer that you don't use the Wi-Fi, but you know, it still works. We just don't know what the Wi-Fi does to us. But thank you anyway for having me on the show. I really appreciate it, and I love the Tesla water now, because maybe my 63-year-old brain will start acting a little bit more like my grandchildren's and be a little bit more technologically savvy, and I'm counting on it. I'll let you know how I do.
You know, a lot of the shows I've done in the past on the teleseminars, I always tell people, be that child, you know, approach even what you do and other people we've had on the show. You need to approach all of this with a childlike mind. And when you do, you know, a child has no conditions. They see the world as magic, and the world is magic. And if you can exist in that stream of magic, the higher realms in that vibration, and then anything is possible. So, you know, at the end of the day, none of this is work to me. It's all about having fun, because when it does become work, I don't want to do it anymore. That's why I poke fun at Donna constantly, because it's fun. She hates me for it, but that's another story. But again, just keep yourself in a childlike mindset when you utilize any type of alternative technology, whatever it is, and you know, just envision yourself in that stream of light, and anything is possible.
Right on. Right on. And staying open.
Regina, thank you. Awesome show. Your technology is amazing, and I'm sure it's impacting people on levels, you know, and that's what it's all about.
Well, yours is very similar. Obviously, we're both working in symbols and intention and water, so we're pretty close, even though I think we have some fundamental differences, like Ebert's frequencies are fundamentally different than Dr. Reif's. So it was really an honor to meet you and to have this conversation, even though some of it went over my head.
That's all right. It goes over my head too, but I'm really good at acting it out and talking about it. Even if I don't know what I'm talking about, I still make you think I know what I'm talking about. How's that sound? Is that better?
That sounds great.
Donna, thank you. And again, David Shear, thank you. Big shout out for helping us connect with awesome people. Thanks, folks.
Right. Good night, everyone. See you next Sunday.
Night.
Good night. Thanks.